Alright, we're back. But not officially, because we're gonna go spend these fucking souls. Because I don't trust myself not to lose them at some point. Like, died so many times in this freaking area.
Welcome, host speaker.
Ooh, it's so expensive. Oh, man.
Very well, then touch the day.
I'll probably do that at some point. Okay. I don't really need a equip load. We may do this. We need 100 fancy points there to do 2 lightning blades. So I think we'll do that. No, they're actually called focus points. Fancy points is a colloquialism. Yeah, no, they're not actually called fancy points. Okay, now we'll make this run, hopefully one last time, find another bonfire. You know, I knew I shouldn't have gone across the invisible bridge. I thought about that. You know, whether it's Dark Souls 1 or Dark Souls 2, Honor Londo is Dark Souls 3. Honor Londo is a fucking nightmare. On the plus side, I look almost professional now. Oh no! plus side, I think we've managed to get the full Silver Knight set. And that's something. No. Okay. Yo, made it past that bit. I want to check something. I don't know if this takes us anywhere new. Just there. Okay. Yeah, see, if I'd have been smart, I would have just come up here, grabbed this bonfire. Here we are, being a dummy. Alright, we're gonna go spend our souls real quick. Get that last attunement point. I don't think we're gonna go any higher than that. Just because, I don't think we're going to benefit from having like a second spell slot. Though, I guess Oath of Sunlight probably takes a some focus points. Dang it. Okay, well not right now. There we go. Now we can cast it twice. Alright.
Ashen One, may the flames guide thee.
I'm trying to think. I want to make sure we're not missing anybody. So we finished everything with them. I think Henri's is the next person we run into. Yeah. Cool. It's just a very cool, dramatic landscape, I gotta say. As frustrating as Anor Londo is. Face me. Fuck you, dude. This is an honorable duel. It was unintentional, but it looked cool. Oh, hey. Hey, nerd, are you still cooking? Okay, I won't do the cool thing then. We'll come back for this. It's the next stage in Henri's, like, quest. Yeah, that's why I'm waiting. So, if you watch through the Dark Souls 1 playthrough, this should look real goddamn familiar. This is where our giant blacksmith friend lived and worked. But as you can see, he is dead. Yeah.
Jordan's gonna feel really left out.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Jordan's easily shamed. If you ever wanted Jordan to do something, just make him feel self-conscious and ashamed of his actions. Pro tip. Alright, so this lovely place. It's exactly where we fought Smo and Ornstein back in the day. Obviously, it's seen better days. So that's where we're going, obviously. I'm just gonna grab this item. But not just yet. There's one other thing we gotta do. Gotta open these big old dope doors. Look at them. Fight this cat demon. this cat demon until the petrification goes away. Hey, this is a good time to look at its, like, design model. I don't know what's on its back, honestly. Little mushrooms, maybe? Yo, and Aldrich's Ruby. Dope. Alright. So the doors are open. Go check out this way. We could get through there, but maybe not. Maybe I'm just thinking of old Don Armando stuff. This is one of like the interesting things that comes with like playing a lot of Dark Souls is you just have this stuff you're unsure if like you're remembering it from this game or a previous game or like where the I don't know, the memories or the feelings are coming from. There's lots of places I walk into and I immediately get tense. I have no idea why. Like, it's usually just because the place looks like a place where bad stuff happened to me before. So I don't know, I think it's kind of a clever thing to do. Alright. Alright. Oh, it's really good timing. Okay, so we've basically done everything. Over there is our fog door, but we're going to join our good friend Henri of Astora. And it's a small thing, but that's a Prism Stone. You saw me throw one on the ground before.
Yeah.
And that's what Henri said she would use to mark the way for Horace to find her, because that's what they always did as kids.
Aww.
So when she asked for our help, she was a little Prism Stone.
Wait, so if we didn't kill Horace?
Horace kills her.
I thought so. Okay.
Yeah, you can not kill Horace, And, well, so you can not kill Horus and not tell Henri.
I thought it might be
I will do this in a second.
lengthen your strength. Help me back.
Oh no! I forgot about his arrow attack. Okay, maybe I got a little too aggressive. It's pretty good. Hey, my focus points don't. Okay, hold on. We're gonna do this right. Also, that's Aldrich. We will fight him in our own world, but first we're gonna help Henri defeat Aldrich and world. Oh no! Or I'll just jump to my death. All of these are possibilities. Christ. Also, shout out to Pillsbury for making the dopest, like, instant croissants. Aha! Suck it, Silver Knights. You can't catch me. I'm not even on this plane of reality anymore.
Ah, I thought it might be useful. No. It's
Damn it! Okay, not the most effective. I gotta remember not to stay close to him when he teleports away. I forget how much frickin' damage it does. Come on. Ah. Fucking Silver Knights, man. More or less, yeah. Though it's got different abilities and stats and whatnot. So basically, the original war was against the dragons, right? So Gwyn had a set of knights, the Silver Knights. They helped him fight the dragons. Later, when the demon problem became surmountable, let's say, Gwyn went to go fight that war, split his knights into two factions. The ones that went off to fight the demons ultimately had to adopt slightly different tactics, use different weapons, and their armor got charred. So those are the Black Knights. The Silver Knights stayed in Orlando mostly. That's why they fight with lightning, because that's what you use against dragons. Right. Oink. Alright, let's try it again. You and me, Henri. I won't stand too close to Aldrich when he's doing teleporting stuff.
Ah, I thought it might be this. No.
Suck it, Aldrich.
I owe this to you. Thank you. Truly. Horace, we've done it. We really have.
So you remember her backstory? Yeah, there's a few ways that Henri's questline ends, but I think the one where we help her finally defeat the monster that ruined everything about her world in childhood and accomplish the mission that her best friend didn't get to see the end to is the better ending.
So quickly, desperately climbed up onto my lap during that fight, and I'm very proud of him.
We're going to... Because Aldrich is kind of a tough fight. We're going to spend these souls, which means I have to kill those knights again, but that's fine. We'll spend these souls. Rival. Okay. There's a summon sign here. It's called Rival. We'll go spend these souls real quick, and then...
Sunbros summon?
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, maybe. I'll have to go look. I didn't check the coloring. Then we'll go fight our own Aldrich. We're going to see a lot of Aldrich today.
Can you remind me of the backstory with Aldrich?
So, Aldrich was a cleric of the Way of White, who... And the order of this is ambiguous, but two things happened. A,
Very well.
he
Then touch the
started
dark
eating
nourishment.
people, and that made him quite strong, apparently. Oh, man. Maybe we should lose vigor. Well, maybe we should start getting our endurance up a little bit. I think that's what we'll work on for now. He started eating people, which did two things. It made him more powerful over time, and it also made him bloated and soft and changed his form in some important way. And second, he started having dreams about a coming age of deep waters to wash away the Age of Fire. Ultimately, he started sort of a fringe cult within the Way of White, worshipping the deep as opposed to defending from the deep, which is what that cathedral was originally set up for. At some point, he's made a Lord of Cinder. As the Crestfallen Knight says, not for virtue, but for might. So, Aldrich was strong enough to do it. So he was the one who was chosen. So when he gets resurrected, Pontiff Sullivan is looking to utilize that, let's say. So you can fight Gwendolyn in Dark Souls 1 and kill him, but that's not per se like the canonical way that goes. The canonical way is something like your character never realizes that Honor Londo is an illusion, or at least that Gwendolyn survives your meeting him. Maybe you do, but you agree with his premise. Either way, in this game, Pontiff Sullivan seems to have found Gwendolyn, captured him, and so when Aldrich comes back, he basically says, you know, hey, why don't you use this god instead of a person? Gets him to Irithyll, which gets him to Honor Londo, and then he comes up here to feed on the remains of Gwendolyn. So Aldrich, if you, it's hard to necessarily pick up if you haven't done a lot of the Dark Souls stuff and you're not really looking at Aldrich. His upper torso looks like Gwendolyn. He also has an ability he brings out every once in a while where you see him pull out this big sickle. That is the sickle of, is it Priscilla? The woman who was first trapped in the Painted World. She had an ability called Life Hunt, which pulled out a sickle. That's what he's using there. So he's absorbing the powers of the old Honor Orlando gods, looks like. Honestly, I think that's enough of those guys. I'm just trying to clear the path. Oh. So we can bring in Rival. Where that is. Is there anybody else we can summon? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, Pontiff Sullivan has his hands in a lot of stuff. He's a pretty interesting character, all things considered. He kind of comes out of nowhere lore-wise, though we will get to see where he actually comes from a little bit later.
Just clicked on it.
Looks like it. It's hard to tell because it's like on a white background, but I think it is. Either that or it's just like a NPC summon. Given the amount of time it's taking, though, I'm suspecting it's actually a person. Did you get hit by a slug? Let's fucking do this.
fire fades and awaits its one last lord. Prince Lothric is in your hands. Please save his soul.
Weighing it out, not sure if you're gonna save Lothric's soul or not.
It depends on your definition. Do you remember this place?
Yeah.
How about now? Down there was where Vort was. And there used to be an old woman on a chair here.
She's fallen off the chair.
This is true. I don't know if I'm ready to talk to her just yet.
Why?
Well, you want to just go for it?
What? Explain why you're not ready.
Yeah, we're gonna go spend these souls, and then we're gonna come back and talk to her.
That's fair. What's that noise?
It's like when you drop like a rock into like a small pond.
Welcome home, Ash. Speak thine. Very well, then take not.
So we're just gonna alternate between endurance and vigor for a little bit. Oh, you know what? We've also got a soul. We can turn that into something. So, we got the soul of Aldrich, which reads, when Aldrich ruminated on the fading of the fire, it inspired visions of a coming age of deep sea. He knew the path would be arduous, but he had no fear. Devour the gods himself.
Well met, that at last returned. Knowst thou the name Anne of Astura? The brave girl left this as thanks. Though gave no elucidation, so happened upon any twisted souls?
And that's it for Henri.
Off to do bigger, better things.
Yeah.
She don't need our help no more.
She accomplished her life's mission. She left her sword.
We've helped so many people accomplish their lives.
It's true. I've specifically attempted to push us into mostly positive endings for everyone. Alright, so we can get the Darkmoon Longbow or Life Hunt Scythe. Interestingly enough, that is something we could use. But Darkmoon Longbow. Longbow of the Darkmoon Gwendolyn, who was gradually devoured by Aldrich. This golden bow is imbued with powerful magic and is most impressive with moonlight arrows. And then Life Hunt Scythe. Aldrich dreamt as he slowly devoured the god of the Dark Moon. In his dreams, he perceived the form of a young, pale girl in hiding. That's our woman who was in the painting. So, do you want the spell, or do you want the bow? I know. It's the on the plus side, when you go through your playthrough, you'll have an opportunity to spend these souls again and get the options that you didn't choose the first go through.
Which one are you more likely?
Honestly, neither. The way our character is currently built, I don't really have a reason to use either. So it's whichever one you kind of more want to see. You have
The spell.
the spell.
Ah, most illustrious, fine kindling for, and, oh, in fact, methinks thou'st helped these poor lords of.
Yeah.
Now, heed
Done
this
that.
little warning.
No.
Aldrich?
I believe so. Yes.
Half a skull?
Yeah. So we've got Aldrich. We've got Ludlith, who's just been chilling. There are Farron Knights. And here lies Yorm.
So you killed all those drones?
Nope, there's one left. See, you forget. There was somebody who was supposed to link the fire this cycle and chose not to. That's Prince Lothric. And that's Prince Lothric's throne.
In the center.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 4 and 5.
Correct. So we're going to teleport here, and then run real fast and go talk to that woman. Yeah, I think one of the cooler like storytelling devices they use to make their point in Dark Souls 3, and I may have mentioned this before. In Dark Souls 1, you start off kind of in the middle, but like most of your early game is fighting your way up. The only time you go down is when you don't have what you need to continue to go up. And in Dark Souls 3, you basically start at the highest point and work your way down, and then only return to the highest point later. So it's an interesting inversion of the like hero myth / cycle / what have you that the game is sort of working on. Okay, well, I didn't actually want to fight any of y'all.
Prince
All right.
Lothric is in your hands. Please save his soul. Tell him what he must be, a lord.
Okay. That was weird. that memory was Lothric.
We will talk about it after the battle. Oh no! So that's the Dancer of the Boreal Valley.
Not Lothric.
Not Lothric, no.
But it seems like the movement is very similar to the dog.
Yeah. So I will sit down here and I will tell you the tale. So Pontiff Sullivan is a sorcerer traveling who finds the profaned flame and ultimately develops a plan and an ambition. He insinuates himself one way or another into the Way of White, begins accumulating power. The Way of White is essential to the Order of the Old Gods and all kinds of things at this point. It's been ingratiated into whatnot, and he works his way up the ranks, acquiring quite a lot of power through various nefarious and terrible means. Ultimately, he wields sorceries and the profaned flame to accomplish this, but he also leans heavily on the old belief and systems of the gods before him. Now, he's got a whole bunch of things in the fire, but he also seems to be he's a tyrant, fundamentally. So when there are people whom he feels are useful, but doesn't want around, he gives them those rings and makes them Outrider Knights. Outrider Knights are Knights of the Boreal Valley who aren't defending, but are going off on long sojourns away. So they're basically exiled. The rings, though, so if you remember right, they reward you for attacking, and they're implied to have some sort of tie to the Pontiff. slowly turn the people who wear them into mindless beasts. Now, probably Guinevere is here before she becomes Rosaria and everything that happened to her happens, and probably had a daughter, because the veil that the Boreal dancer is wearing is specified as being tied to the old gods. Somehow, Pontiff Sullivan gets a hold of this woman and first makes her a dancer. He puts her in a position where she's just there to be looked at and used as a sex object, basically, as a way of degrading and breaking her. That's why she's referred to as the dancer. Later, he makes her an Outrider Knight. In between this, her and Vort probably meet and fall in love, and they become inseparable. They're the two ghosts we see when we're moving through the Irithyll. Yeah, the tall, thin one is the dancer, and the slightly shorter, slightly stockier one is Vort, when they were still regular people. They were inseparable, they went everywhere together. So even here, long after they've both been driven into bestial rage, they're not far apart. So Vort is at the lower chapel, the dancer is at the upper chapel.
That's so sweet.
I mean, they're both dead now. We fucking killed them, but... Yeah. Nope. They only show up in Irithyll, because that's where they were. Yeah. Alright, we're gonna go spend our souls and maybe talk with some people? Probably transpose that soul into something. I don't want to jump into Lothric just yet, considering how long this episode already is. I'm so bad at keeping to the hour mark these days.
Welcome home, Ashen Speaker. Very well, then take no.
So the last one was health, this one will be...
Farewell,
Oh, hold on. 1, 2, 3... Nope, still just 3. Soul of the Dancer. The Pontiff Sullivan bestowed a double-slashing sword upon a distant daughter of the former royal family, ordering her to serve first as the dancer and then as an Outrider Knight, equivalent to exile.
How do you get, like, Guinevere's daughter from that?
Ah. Well, see, that's just it. You can't ever do it from just one thing. So... we can make her enchanted swords. Paired enchanted swords that Pontiff Sullivan bestowed upon the dancer of the Boreal Valley. These blades, symbolic of the dancer's vows, are enchanted by dark magic in the right hand and fire in the left hand, mirroring the Pontiff. And then... Miracle of Guinevere. The princess cherished by all bestowed their blessing upon a great many warriors. So, with her soul we can make a spell from Guinevere, which implies a connection there.
Yeah.
The Pontiff stuff comes through here. You can see some stuff with Vort. There's a few other things. I don't remember how we get it, but you can get her veil and read it, and it mentions that it's specific to members of the royal family who were the old gods, which means that she's somewhere in that line. So, like, a lot of Dark Souls is piecing stuff together like that. Reading multiple item descriptions, seeing the ghosts, reading about Pontiff Sullivan, like, piecing together, like, what had happened between him and Guinevere, Gwendolyn and all that stuff. Like, it is a lot of, like, small bits added together. So when I'm saying stuff like, oh, her and Vort were inseparable, likely in love, and then we're sent off on Outrider Nights, it's like, that's, I don't know, 10 items, a bunch of environmental stuff, and a few other things, like, combined together to make a single explanation. But, like, you do have to, like, connect things like that, where it's like, oh, it's weird that her soul would make a miracle of Guinevere, considering she's just a swordsman.
Yeah.
But when you add that with the description of the veil, you get a little bit more. Okay, so do you want her swords, or do you want soothing sunlight? You want the swords? Swords it is!
Now, heed this
I will heed no warnings. Alright, let's make sure nobody's got anything to
Welcome,
say
husband.
to us.
Ashen One,
Wife.
may I pose thee a question? Has the little Lord Ludleth spoken to thee of any curious matters? I sense that he possesseth some knowledge of a thing once most precious, almost terrible, now lost to the Firekeepers. Pray tell, is it a matter of which I should be apprised? Ashen One, may I pass the breath? May the flames guide thee.
Let's go talk to Ludleth. Let's see if he's got anything interesting to say.
Aha, so. Ah, most fine. Oh, in fact. Now, heed this little warning. Seek not the girl. She knoweth her fate, what will become of her upon her duty's end. She would not wish thee follow her.
Ah, that's Henri. Henri's gonna go hollow.
Ah, well, how may I...
Oops, that's not what I wanted.
Ashen One, if my bring me up with... Is it not a...
Okay. I forgot we had ashes. Oh, you wanted to see the human dregs, right? Human dregs! So this is what the Aldrich faithful turn in for their covenant. Dregs are the heaviest things within the human body and will sink to the lowest depths imaginable, where they become the shackles that bind this world. Oh, we got a whole bunch of stuff. Let's just do some item nonsense for a little bit. Yeah, we're gonna end this episode. It's gonna be kind of long, but we're just gonna use it going through some of the stuff that we've been ignoring. We got this reversal ring. A divine ring granted to the Darkmoon Gwendolyn in his youth. Causes males to perform female actions and vice versa. There's your gender swap. Gwendolyn was raised like a daughter through the aura of the moon and was said to behave like a sullen, brooding goddess. Well, that makes sense. Silver cat ring. In the age of the gods, or possibly just following it, an old cat was said to speak a human tongue, with the voice of an old woman and the form of a fanciful immortal.
So instead of the gender swap coffin, we have a gender swap ring.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We've already read the Aldrich Sapphire, but we have not read the Ruby. So this one recovers SP from critical attacks. This one acquires HP from critical attacks. But Aldrich, infamous for his appetite for flesh, apparently had the desire to share with others his joy for imbibing the final shudders of life while luxuriating in his victim's screams. Oh, thank God. It only took 100 years. The fable in Londor claims the lure of the clutch ring reaches out to the crestfallen who might otherwise be overcome by despair. they all have the same basic description. All of the clutch rings. Flynn's ring, Farron's ring, Evil Eye, Night Slayer, Leo. Did we read the Leo? We didn't. Ring associated with the Dragon Slayer Ornstein, one of the 4 knights of Gwyn, the First Lord. Ornstein was the first knight of the Sun's eldest born, and his cross-spear is said to have pierced scales made of stone. Ring of the Sun's Firstborn. The Sun's Firstborn was once a god of war until he was stripped of his stature as punishment for his foolishness. No wonder his very name has slipped from the annals of history. So, if you've been following me since...
Fairy name? No wonder his fairy name.
His fairy name. So, if you've been following since Dark Souls 1, the Firstborn thing has been a fucking mystery for forever. We will get to meet him later on in this game. So, if that's the thing you've been wondering about, don't fucking worry, we're gonna get there. Witch's Ring. The Witch of Izalith and her daughter scorched by the flame of chaos, taught humans the art of pyromancy and offered them this ring. Every pyromancer is familiar with the parable that tells of the witches espousing the need to fear the flame, teaching the art of pyromancy to men in hopes that they may learn to control it. Deep ring. I guess we haven't read any of these. A silver ring depicting a snake that could have been, but never was, a dragon. Fallen foes yield more souls. If one's shackles are cause for discontent, perhaps it's time for some old-fashioned greed. And this one just is the same, but they drop more items. The various curse bite rings, the various stone plate rings, they're all the same description, but different effects. Okay, so we've read our rings. That's all we're going to read. I'm not going to go through the items. I'm going to leave that to you, actually, when you do a Fashion Soul stuff. You can go through item descriptions on whatever, and if you have any questions, I will do my best to answer them.
Gotcha.
Oh, hello, you're back. And in one piece. You can keep the ring. How's that?
Okay, we're not there yet. We've got at least one more mission we can send Grey Rat on, but I think we have to get into Lothric before it shows up officially.
Oh, Champion of Ash. Welcome. Do you wish to hear a tale?
We started on the high wall of Lothric.
You know, in my home of Karim, I was terribly...
Yeah, so we start off at the place that leads up here, right? Like we awaken from a grave, because we're resurrected, and then we make our way to Firelink Shrine. The first place we go is the high wall of Lothric. We fight our way through to Vort, but we can't get any further because we don't have the vessel.
Okay.
So we then descend, and then we go to the Road of Sacrifices, Fair and Keep, all of those places that we go to, acquiring those souls of Cinder and items and whatnot, until we've defeated everybody but Lothric. That is sufficient, I guess, for us to pass. So we finally return back to where we started, which lets us go to that last little bit. So we're going to move into Lothric proper on pretty soon. Yep, Tuesday it is.
There is one thing that you should know. There is a darkness. What? Fear?
Okay, we've already talked about that.
Do stay safe.
The good news is in Lothric we can get Titanite chunks, which is a thing that's been holding us back for a while. I know nobody else is paying attention to that, but like, bothers me. I guess we can go check with Patches. I'm like 98% sure Patches has fuck all to say at this point, but we'll double check.
Oh, hello again. Welcome to Patch's Boutique of Wonders. Can't resist it, can you?
my sumptuous selection.
Ah, I see the step. Well,
What do you have? I don't think you have anything I really want. We've got the horse hoof ring, which I don't want.
can't find anything you like.
Nope. You just love the cat ring.
Yeah, because I think it's ridiculous when you fall like a small person so much of your health.
I mean, that's fair. Though, I mean, if you imagined, like, would you jump 15 feet to the ground?
No.
Yeah.
Like, I totally understand it. I get it full-heartedly. And I think it's really funny that there's a ring that stops that from happening.
Mm-hmm. Well, it limits it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Longbow, you're so sleepy.
He's always sleepy. Just doing dog stuff. Wait, have you talked with Jordan?
Jumbo.
Ask him if we're watching Hunter x Hunter. But while you're doing that, watch this cutscene.
Was that head? Yes.
It's a small thing. In Dark Souls 1 and 2, you're either hollowed or human. You're always regaining humanity. In this one, you're embered or not embered. I think that was a really brilliant decision, mostly because, let's be real, you almost never see your character's face. You're always looking at them from the back as you go about doing stuff. Like, their human state is irrelevant, but like, whether or not you've got dope fire effects all over you, way cooler from like a gameplay, what you actually see most of the time standpoint.
Plus, it's a really cool concept.
Yeah,
Hey, aren't we gonna stop this episode?
we are. We just got to get to a good place. So that will lead us to a new area, which, don't worry, we will go to. And there'll be lots of exciting stuff involving the Firekeeper there.
Our firekeeper?
Our Firekeeper. That's a place we'll drop down from. Apologies. And here is a bunch of knights and stuff, and we'll be moving our way into Lothric proper. That's all a problem for future us, though. For now, we've done a lot this episode. It's been extra long. Thanks for being patient with it. Next time, I guess we'll move into Lothric proper. And probably go into that secret area. Till next time.